All right, back on the record in the Simpson matter. All parties are again present. Where'd Ms. Sager go? Oh, there you are. I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd ask the Court's indulgence in permitting me to interpose objections if necessary on Ms. Savage's behalf, even though she's not a party, given the nature of the inquiry. And I'm sorry. Given the nature of the inquiry and that she is not a lawyer, to the extent that any questions might stray into forbidden areas or go beyond the Court's foundational, permissive foundational inquiries, I'd like the Court's permission to interpose objections.
All right, what I'll allow you to do, Ms. Sager, is to stand to the side of the witness stand, and if you wish to confer with your client, I'll allow you to do so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Roman?
Tracy Savage.
All right, Ms. Savage?
Please stand by the court reporter and raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the cause of opinion for this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat in the witness stand. And please state and spell your full name for the record.
My name is Tracy Savage, and it's spelled Tracie Savage.
Mr. Roman?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Savage, what is your occupation,
I'm a television news reporter.
and by whom are you employed?
I work for KNBC TV here in Los Angeles.
And were you employed by KNBC in that capacity in September of 1994?
Yes, I was.
On September 21st, 1994, did you broadcast a news report related to the case of People versus O.J. Simpson?
Yes, I did.
And in that news report, did you report information with respect to some socks that had been allegedly recovered from Mr. Simpson's bedroom?
That's correct.
All right, and what did you report about those socks?
I reported that the socks had been discovered at the defendant's home and that there was blood on those socks, and that the socks had been tested, the blood on the socks had been tested, and the results showed the blood belonged to Nicole Brown Simpson.
And did you report any information with respect to the nature of the tests that had been performed?
Yes, I did.
And what was that?
I reported that a DNA test had been conducted.
And that the results of that DNA test had been reported?
That is correct.
Now, I take it that in making that report, you were reporting what you believed were accurate information?
I reported accurately the information that was given to me from multiple sources.
All right. How many sources?
I'm afraid I cannot answer that question. That is protected by the Shield Law.
But you are asserting that what you reported was an accurate presentation of what the sources had told you.
That is correct.
And were these sources knowledgeable about the investigation of the case of People versus O.J. Simpson?
Check. That calls for conclusion.
Sustain. I think what you can do is ask if she in fact reported that these were knowledgeable sources, and then ask her for what her definition is of knowledgeable.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you report any information about the knowledge of the sources whom you were quoting in this report?
Yes, I did report that they were knowledgeable sources.
And what did you mean by knowledgeable?
They were sources, and this has been stated already on the record, close to the investigation.
So these sources then were the source of your information that socks had been recovered from Mr. Simpson's bedroom?
Calls for conclusion, opinion.
Sustain or phrase the question.
When you reported that socks had been recovered from Mr. Simpson's bedroom, you were relying then on these sources who were close to the investigation?
I reported accurately the information that was given to me from multiple sources, reliable sources.
And it was these sources who informed you that socks had been recovered from the bedroom.
That was part of the information that the sources had given to me.
And it was these sources who told you that the socks had blood on them.
That is correct.
And it was these sources who told you that the blood on the socks had been tested.
That is correct.
And it was these sources who told you that the tests had revealed a match to the blood of Nicole Brown Simpson.
That is correct.
And it was these sources who told you that the tests that were conducted were DNA tests.
That is correct.
Now, did you make any promise to these sources that their identity would be kept confidential?
I gave my word as a journalist that I would not reveal their identities.
And this is true with respect to each of the sources that you spoke to?
I gave my word to my sources that I would never reveal their identities.
And you gave that word explicitly? You told them, I will not reveal that you were the source of this information?
Yes, that's true.
Now, were these sources persons who had given you information in the past?
That is true.
And the information they had given you in the past was also related to the case of People versus O.J. Simpson?
Your Honor, if I can interpose an objection here, I know this is somewhat unusual, but this, I think, goes well beyond what the court indicated Ms. Savage would be asked to testify about, which was merely the foundation that she is a reporter, that the information came to her in the course of her news-gathering activities, and that she made promises of confidentiality. With all due respect, Mr. Ullman is now conducting the very inquiry of Ms. Savage, which the court has not yet determined he's entitled to conduct.
Well, Your Honor, we would maintain that this is information that has already been disseminated. In the letter to the court from KMBC, it was represented that the reports were based on the sources with
Counsel,
different...
I agree with you that I'm already aware that that is the representation that has been made. The issue is to establish the foundation for invoking the shield law, and then I have to make a determination going beyond that once we get to that point.
Right.
Question's premature.
Now, could you tell us what you mean, Ms. Savage, when you indicate that your sources were close to the investigation?
Same objection, Your Honor. We're beyond now the scope, and I think the foundation has already been laid. There's no need to go beyond what Ms. Savage has already testified to.
Oh, well, how do you define generally knowledgeable and close to the investigation?
Your Honor, I'm afraid by identifying how I determine what knowledgeable is, I may in effect reveal the identities of my sources. Knowledgeable, I think, in all due respect, I think the word speaks for itself.
Mr. Ullman?
Well, Ms. Savage, did you assume that the information given by your sources was accurate because they were close to the investigation?
Well, that's not relevant. It
Yeah,
calls
we're
for
beyond
conclusion.
the scope of the inquiry at this point.
Did your sources include any officers or agents of the Los Angeles Police Department?
I respectfully decline to answer that question. I must assert the shield law.
Again, Your Honor, he's now asking the questions beyond foundational questions.
No, the foundational question, one of the foundational questions were, if you were asked what the sources were, would you invoke the shield? That's where we are. That has been now accomplished. Mr. Ullman?
All right. And at this time, then, you declined to indicate any of the sources on whom you relied for the report of September 21st.
That is true at this time.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ullman. Mr. Goldberg, do you have any questions? Certainly.
Your Honor, I don't have any questions.
All right, Ms. Savage, thank you very much. All right, the court will make a finding that a preliminary foundation has been established. The court will take under submission the Delaney issues.
Your Honor, we would like to call Michelle Kessler with respect to those issues.
Is she available?
She was on
I believe she's on phone.
Well, the last we heard.